John is excused.
John.
He's in training.
Justin, can you hear us all right?
Well, I don't think there was it's just got a frequency for
Books?
He's got like books,
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I can hear you.
big hardcovers, I got all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna bring him in
Come
after
see
the
me when
meeting
you're
and see
done.
if you want any.
I got a group of 20 Sears
Don't take
that
them all, I'll
want
give
to
them
operate
away.
their knife and safe time. Last
Not that many.
Yeah, why not?
We're cleaning out. We're completely purging in our house right now. I have a long easy project too, if you want it. You can have to switch them.
His eyes lit up when he said aviation.
Oh, we could have like a little airport library somewhere in the lobby or something, you know.
And then let people just take, I mean, I'm fine with that, I have that many.
Memorial.
I don't say memorial, because that's something library.
Take off and you report. Straight take off and I sit here, we have people in there. But it's half a mile, isn't it?
What's that?
The building.
Yes. Half a mile, for that,
So we're gonna do our best.
He just needs a quarter.
What I call.
I know it's right.
Yeah. So
I'm more trying to get rid of the long, easy project than I am anything. Do you know anyone who wants a long, easy project?
So we're gonna have this.
No, if somebody does, please look for it. I want it out of my basement.
Like the airplane, is the airplane up for grabs?
That's what, oh yeah, if I want it, I'll give it to you. Yeah, I'll donate it. We've had this thing, we have moved with it now from 2 different states. I'm done.
Is your husband done with it?
Yes. He also has 3 motorcycles and he's traded all 3 of them for 1. He likes projects and he likes to do these things, so he'll get old motorcycles and he likes to go in. So, those are the other 2, and he's getting up on this pad, getting up red.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to him.
I'm done. It's like, he's
I don't think you do, I don't think that you do, or I want something like that.
Yeah, and the other 2, he's got 2,
As I go through my attendance, I was joking, so
the chip bike, do you know where the chips go?
so I'm gonna have to harass
Found
him.
one,
Maybe like I
done
said,
it completely standard. I'm totally kidding.
Get a little time off from all this snow plowing.
So he's getting, and like, I know kids.
Yeah, we record. We are recording and there we go. Justin, can you hear us all right?
I can hear you, Cameron, thanks.
Thank you.
we will call the Aviation Committee meeting to order, 8 a.m., April 5th. Thank you all for coming. First item, approved minutes of March 1st, 2023 meeting. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Number 2, public comment on agenda items or any item under the jurisdiction of this committee. Anybody have anything they want to talk about right now? Otherwise, as we go along, you're welcome to speak up. Number 3, airport director's report. East GA hangar project update. Jim?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. As far as the construction goes on the project, the civil contractor got started on March 6th. They went ahead and in the first couple of weeks demolished the 5 existing hangar structures on the project site. Subsequent to that, they've been working the last week or 2 on removing all the footings and foundation associated with those hangar structures and some former structures that were on that site long ago. You never know what you're going to find when you start digging in the ground, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. They've also went ahead and filled a couple of underground portions of those sites. Probably one of them had like what seemed to be a very small basement as well, which we kind of anticipated, but again, you never know until you start really going down in there. So those sites have been filled. This week, they worked on pulverizing the old asphalt apron over there. So that's more or less complete. And they've also begun the underground utility work on the project. So that the last couple of days has been laying some new sanitary sewer pipe to reroute that outside of the project envelope. Get that outside of all the building footprints. May 1st, we are anticipating, around May 1st, we're anticipating Cardinal Construction, which is the building contractor, being issued a notice to proceed. That is dependent upon the civil contractor's work and being done by May 1st, but actually that's what their date is. But as long as we continue to get this wonderful dry weather that we're getting, we're going to run. So that's kind of the construction update. As far as the hangar leasing update, I'll give a brief overview of that. Cameron and Kim have been doing the majority of the work there, but we did have a email blast sent out plus a letter sent out to all existing tenants March 1st. I think we began that last month. And since that time, we have 17 requests of existing tenants to lease one of the new hangars. We are working through right now, contacting all of those people that requested a hangar space and essentially working out the unit that they like. We did a impartial blind drawing of the 17 folks that requested a hangar and drew them out one after next for sort of priority of which hangar space they'd like. So we've been getting through the list the last day or two of contacting those folks and letting them know. So as if you made a request for a hangar space, you should be getting a phone call. We're going in order of priority, who gets kind of first dibs on each unit. We will have all that as far as the assignments of the leases or the assignments of the hangar units wrapped up hopefully by the end of this month, and then in May we'll start work on securing deposits for the hangars, and the leasing process will begin with the tenants of the new hangars. And subsequent to that, we'll be backfilling any hangars that are vacated by the existing tenants. Moving to a new hangar. There are some tenants where they're looking to get an additional hangar, so they may not leave the existing hangar they're in. That's fine. And then the other portion is we have 3 or 4 spaces that are not being leased by existing tenants, so then we'll offer those up to the waiting list. And whatever we have for backfilling of the spaces that the existing tenants leave, will also so a lot of work ahead of us to get all the hangars leased, but we've got really strong demand. We've got 68 people on the waiting list in the 60s. So I would very much imagine we'll have the other 4 hangars leased out of the 68 people that are looking for a space. So we're very excited to get all that work done and get the hangars not only constructed, but get the leases set up so that right around September 1st, when we anticipate the project being done, we're able to start having folks occupy those things.
You got it.
So you'll have 4 left. Have you had people on that 68 person list inquire about the new hangars, if there would be any availability for them?
We haven't started notifying the waiting list because
Okay.
we're trying
Just
to
done all this.
secure we have 16 requests. How we've structured it is that in order to secure your space, you have to put a $350 deposit down first. That's non-refundable to secure your space, and that will go to your first month's rent. So we want to know that the 16 folks that would like to lease the hangars are very serious about that. Before we start the leasing process, that's 16 new leases that we have to get going. And then after we've got all that, say all 16 follow through with the deposit and start the leasing process, at that point we'll offer them the waiting list.
So it's all good. Good. Thank you for that. You guys have any questions?
A basement? I did the same thing.
I'll have a little video pulled up there if you want. Yeah. if you want.
I'm just curious. I think of, how did they get down in there? I mean, is there
think
A full
stairs.
downstairs or?
Yeah, there actually was a stairwell. So this is a
That
video,
was the old boiler room for the old,
That makes sense now.
northwest hangar.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
Big steam
Okay.
boiler down there.
so this is a video mid-March, for the demolition of the 5 hangars on the site. As you can tell, it's from an aerial perspective. We just acquired a DJI drone this year, so for aerial photography and this sort of project. Okay.
And we have a co-op.
Yeah, we have a certificate of
And I have
authorization
a
of flying.
107 certificate.
So, yeah, Cameron is our new AV pilot. So far, so good, it's operating as planned, and, so that's just a snapshot of where it was a couple of weeks ago, but it looks much different now. We actually flew the drone again on Monday, this week, but we don't have that video up yet, so. But if you're not following our Facebook page and you do have a Facebook account, I encourage you to do that. We'll post regular updates about the hangar project, including those sorts of videos, so that people can be informed of where we are in our progress. Thanks for that.
Okay, we'll move on to item B, Chamber Business Expo recap.
On March 30th, so last week.
Right,
Last week.
last Thursday.
Okay. Last Thursday, myself, Cameron, and Kim all exhibited at the Chamber's Business Expo. The theme of the expo was game show. So we racked our brains, we went through a long list of game shows, and there were a few suggestions that we immediately ruled out because it just didn't seem to fit. But then we came across one that's called, I'm sure you've heard of it or seen it, it's called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? We started talking about that one, we thought maybe no one else would do it. A couple other groups that did some take on it, but what they didn't have was an actual fifth grader. So through a bit of back and forth, we found out that Ken's daughter was actually in the 5th grade. And so we had a real live 5th grader that folks could go up against. We had a list of questions for each contestant to answer. And I'm happy to report that Kim's 5th grader went 26 wins, 3 losses, and like 8 or 9 ties, I would say.
Wow.
We're trying to keep track as best as possible.
Good job.
So very few people beat the 5th grader. I think we had about 3. But anybody that didn't beat the 5th grader, we had a board and it said, I'm smart, but I'm not smarter than a 5th grader. And we had a Polaroid camera, believe it or not. And we took the photo and put it up on the board. So everybody thought it was a whole lot of fun. There's a few people that declined their Polaroid, which is fine. But we had a great time. I think it was very well received. We had a number of our tenants contribute a prize for our drawing, stuff the business card, and the prize drawing, EAA donated a few things. That was a turbo conversion, Sonic aircraft, and a few others. With that, we had some great community engagement. We had a lot of folks asking about different things, developments at the airport, that people asking about our hangar project, that people asking if the new terminal was open yet. Those sorts of things. We said, yeah, it's been almost 2 years now, but come on down, come on out, check it out. So we had some great engagement from folks that stopped by the booth. We had a whole lot of fun. Did include in your packet some photos. Hopefully you had a chance to look at those. We won't put them up on the screen, but really successful event. And I believe this is our 4th or 5th year exhibiting at the Chamber Expo. Of course, didn't have it in 2020, but excited to be back at it this year.
I like the wall of shame. That was really cute.
It's not officially, officially it was not the wall of shame, but
Not the wall of shame.
I think my 5th grader did though. She said, do you want your picture on the wall of shame? And Jim was trying to tell her, it's not the wall of shame.
yeah.
Awesome. So your picture, thank you. That was really
I did. I know. Even I said, I can't believe like what they know. We took our pictures before it even started because all of us saw the questions and answers. And just being honest, I'm like, I wouldn't have known some of these.
Yeah, we just decided to go ahead and put our picture up right away.
Yeah.
Not a
We just owned it. We just
the
owned it.
embarrassment, so.
So you were the 3 that lost.
We were the first 3, yeah.
Yeah, we were the first 3.
No contest.
Well, now I'm curious. Now you have to do it to all of us. Right?
Next month, we'll get it set up. We gotta see if we can excuse her from Lord's.
Right?
It was very nice for Lord's, let us, and of course, Jim, let us alone.
And that's volunteer hours.
Right? I was
Okay,
gonna say, I don't think it counts yet, not until they're in high school.
Oh, that's very nice, I forgot.
item 4, thank you, Jim. Item 4, Deputy Director's Report, A, internship update.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. We did make an offer to an airport operations and management intern on Monday, and this is still pending the background check and drug screening, all the HR stuff. But Nicoletta Salvatore is who we selected after 22 applicants and 8 interviews. And the applicants were from all over the country. There wasn't one from Wisconsin. We were looking for a senior or recently graduated from an aviation college with a degree in aviation management. And Nicoletta is from the Chicago area. She is a senior at Lewis University and is currently an intern at the Salt Lake City International Airport. And her passion is in GA, and she's very excited to start here. So her start date will be at the end of May 29th. And just as a reminder, this is a low-paying internship, $11 an hour, but we are providing housing at an apartment that was recommended from the county executive. Anything else, Jim?
No, this is the first time that we're aware of us having, many years ago, but as far as recent history, the first time we're offering a summer internship. We got a lot of great applicants, like I said, 22 folks that applied. We had it narrowed down to like 8 who did interviews with, and we had some great options out there, but Nicoletta was definitely the best choice. So,
Is this gonna be every year? Is this an online thing?
We'll see how this summer goes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's just summer internship, 3 months long, and
Get them through EAA and see.
yeah.
And just to let everybody know, this isn't their budget, this is not,
yes.
this is not an add-on, this was put in the budget back in August and then approved back in October, so. Sounds good to me. Okay, item B, NIFA SafeCon update. Cameron?
Thank you. Just a little bit to update from last month, but I'll remind you what the NIFA SafeCon event is. It's about 30 colleges that are aviation colleges that are competing in a flight competition. There are ground skills that they demonstrate, and then flying skills such as short field landing, spot landing, message drop, when they drop a very light, small package from their airplane to try to hit a target. And then the navigation competition to see who can most accurately navigate their airplane. The practice, informal practice, starts at the end of this month, so just a few weeks away from a few of the schools that are really competitive, where they arrive early to start practicing. May 4th is the first day of official sanctioned practice, and then May 8th through 14th is the actual competition. We anticipate the airport being very busy, the most busy during practice, so end of April through early May, and then the competition itself. Some days they have ground events where they're not flying at all. Some days they're navigating, so they're leaving the airport for half an hour or an hour and then coming back, so they won't seem as busy. It won't seem as busy during the competition. We did have a couple of final coordination meetings since the last committee meeting, where we found out that there are 450 students competing, 50 or so coaches that are coming with them, plus all the NIFA volunteers that run the event and judge the event. And we are all set. Runway 1836 is still the runway that they're going to be using for the competition. If winds don't support that runway, they won't be flying that day. And that was an effort to keep 927 open for our normal traffic for arrivals and departures, so they're not waiting in a long line behind 30 Cessnas to take off if events are, of course, okay with 927. Runway 1836 will be still available for our normal traffic, and the tower will do their best to accommodate them expeditiously. And anything else, Jim?
Just again, first in our history that we're hosting this competition, we're co-hosting with the EAA. The EAA is ground facilities over on the EAA grounds, just to the west of our main runway. So it's a very cohesive approach to hosting this competition. We've got all the facilities right here on site, which of course is what EAA excels at, having those type of facilities for these type of events. I think for the most part, we're going to minimize to the best of our ability the impact to the base users. So again, the question becomes, will this become an annual thing? We'll see how this event goes. And perhaps it comes back in the future, but I think they're going to rotate this event around as well. Primarily, this was held at the Ohio State Airport in Columbus, Ohio. And it has been other places. Janesville, Wisconsin being one of them in 2019, Janesville Airport. So we're excited for it. I know Chip and his folks are going to have a lot of work to do to keep everybody safe up there in the air and on the ground. We're excited to host it.
Just from a point of reference, for aviation universities, maybe an alma mater from one, and Cameron, you want to go, this is a big deal. This is like bowl level sports for aviation oriented universities, like national championships for NICA. That's why you get 400 plus teams. These are teams that fly all year, compete all year. It's a big focus. So it's going to be great to have here. And it's going to send back university students all back across the country that now have Oshkosh in that the mecca of aviation. So we can see it.
Maybe you could answer it, Sean, or maybe Jim. So where are these people gonna stay? Because this is a competition, are you gonna stay in hotels or can they camp on grounds like the EAA
I
or
don't think they're going to be camping. They're going to be in hotels. They're
hotels?
used to that. That's their normal mode of operation.
Okay,
May you just never know what the grounds will be like. It could be, really bad.
so it's revenue for the,
Oh, yeah. It'll definitely impact the local area as well.
Mhm.
I may have just patience from the aviation community. We're expecting 10 to 12,000 operations a month from the competition, so it is going to be busy. It's going to be busy. And our staffing is still down in the tower, so please have some patience with us. There's going to be overtime and stuff going on. CTO won't there use me now.
On the spot.
Yes.
Is there going to be someplace where we can reference schedule, like days and hours of operation for our own use when we want to fly?
Yes, so our intent is at least within the next week or two to get a schedule of what the actual practice days are, and also then the competition days, give folks an idea of when, best if you're going to be flying in those couple of weeks, when maybe the best times would be. So it's certainly going to be sent out an email blast to all of our tenants on that. There is, I think the Monday on the 8th, it's not a flying day, so they won't even be flying at all. It's all ground competition stuff. And then there's another day during the week where they're doing a navigation event where they're leaving here, flying the circuit, and coming back. So there'll be plenty, I think, on that day as well, where there's plenty of opportunity to land or take off in between them coming and going. Yes.
And their duty day is 8 to 6, 8 a.m. to 6 every day. They hope to be done by 4, but they put a 2-hour buffer in there for weather or delays or anything like that. So I think that the starting on the 4th, when it starts to get better, once we figure it out in the tower exactly how everything's going to work, we'll be able to get people in and out. We are going to limit practice approaches and pattern work. Probably aren't going to mix in well with us. However, we should be able to get you in and out without too much of it. If you want to take off with those. So that shouldn't be a problem.
Just think of it as a fun week being based at Chicago Midway. Except with 172s. No wake turbines.
We'll see airliners here.
There'll be a few associated.
sounds like everybody's working together to make this all work, so sounds good. Thank you, Kim. Item 5, discuss and approve renewal of lease agreement between Winnebago County and Aviation Services LLC. We'll be back to you, Cameron, on that.
Yes, thank you. So this is Aviation Services, longtime flight school here on the airport, 30+ years. And this is their annual lease renewal that they do every year. They currently occupy Hangar 7 on the east side of the airport near Myers. Hangar 7 is about 2,800 square feet. They also lease adjacent apron space to park planes outside. And as usual, we'll be increasing the rent based on CPI. 4.6 is the last 12 months. And then their apron space is going up because of the new ordinance rate for apron space, bumping up to 29 cents a square foot. So the new total per month is $686.23, and this term is for 1 additional year. And we're requesting that you approve this airport hangar and apron lease between Winnebago County and Aviation Services LLC.
The move to approve the lease?
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion, any questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? You want to interject right now?
Yes, if you don't mind. Not on the agenda, but another update for the committee that just came through late last week. So kudos to Cameron. He filled out an application through the FAA's bill funding, the bipartisan infrastructure law. The FAA set aside, I think it was $25 million for towers, contract towers, nationally, competitive grants to apply for. This is outside of our normal bill funding and all the other funding sources that have come in the last couple of years instead of the pandemic. But the bipartisan infrastructure law set out a variety of specialized pots of money for different aviation purposes. In this case, we applied for a $200,000 grant for the air traffic control tower. One of the things that's already been budgeted this year in our operating budget is to replace the chiller in the tower, which is original to the control tower, but it's run off a R22 refrigerant, which has been being phased out for, I think, quite a few years. So it's identified also because we're having quite a few issues with air conditioning in the tower that we took a test to. They like to have air conditioning up there when we're in the big glass box at the top, especially in the summer. And so we'd already identified about a $70,000 project to replace the chiller. That was included in the grant application along with a number of other upgrades. I can let you talk about everything else that was included.
Yeah, so there was a list of things we were allowed to ask for, and we asked for a new access control system, camera system, which is great because we have a 15-year-old thing that runs on like Windows XP. I shouldn't say that out loud in the public. It's not connected to the internet. Anyways, that was in there. New chairs. Believe it or not, their chairs are from like all over the country, from like Chicago Center and from other facilities. So we're getting them new chairs, new window shades, and a few other small items like that, in addition to the largest part of the project, which is the new chiller.
So we were awarded the grant last week, we were notified. And so we'll be going through the process also, you can talk about the petition process upcoming.
Yeah, so if you remember, last year we did a petition where we had a public hearing, and then we had a resolution that we brought through this committee and then up through the board for the state to act as our agent and for grant assurances. It's kind of the typical thing the state requires to do grants through them. And so this was not on that petition. The control tower upgrades is what we're calling it. And so we're running a very quick process again with adding that. So we'll have a public hearing where we can have input on what people think of us upgrading the control tower. It'll be a very short meeting. We're proposing holding it on April 21st at 3 p.m. in this room. We will post it as a meeting, so you guys are welcome to attend and listen to what the public has to say. That date's not official yet because I have not got the Class 1 newspaper ad out, which I'm going to be working on today. So once we have that official, I'll make sure you guys hear about it, and then all of our tenants will get an email too, so they can weigh in.
Excellent. So, I think a very big win for the county as far as the chiller replacement. That was something we were already going to do this year, but now we're able to utilize the grant funding to accomplish that, plus quite a bit more.
And I will say, facilities has notified us that chillers, one of them is on a 40-week back order, so this probably won't be installed this year, but it will be started this year.
You have to put this out for bids.
Yeah, it'll be going up through the state. The state will be handling all that.
Oh, the state will be, okay.
They're gonna be our agent for it.
Yeah, okay.
So the money that the county had budgeted for the chiller project, and the other projects that money will go for, or thoughts on that?
Yeah, we'll have to figure out what, the financial back end of what has been budgeted versus grant money that just came in. So, yes, we always have projects that we can spend. We'll have to work on identifying just sort of the financial back end of our existing budget. Because we didn't include, like, when we had the CARES Act and we actually, we had $69,000 way back in 2020 that we were allocated specifically to the airport for the CARES Act. And that was included as budget revenue a couple of years and carried over and actually received it until last year. Actually received it in the last month, but it was allocated to fiscal year 2022. But with that, we did a hangar painting project on our North Keys last year. That was a big chunk of the CARES Act. So in that case, we had budgeted expense for the hangar painting and budgeted grant revenue. In this case, we didn't know about this last week, so we will certainly figure out the back end of the financials with our existing budget.
I will add one more thing. This is an unusual grant because it's 100% federal funds, so there'll be $0, no matching funds or anything from county or state.
It still has to go through the county process also? No.
How the petition process works, essentially, the state acts, because we're in what they call a block grant. And every federal dollar that comes to us by way of AIP grants, or in this case, bill grants, ARPA, or other ones, anything that was federally allocated goes through the Bureau of Aeronautics as our agent. So the contracts and the bidding and everything
So just
essentially.
thinking for fast, if you get it, because if it has to go through like F&P and this and that, then it's gonna take a lot longer and you need to get on that waiting list.
Yeah, it doesn't
Sooner
go
than
through-
later, if it's a 40-week waiting list for a chiller.
It doesn't go through that process.
Good, I'm really, really glad for that with you guys, so.
It's a good thing, very good.
We had a bench that took 3 months to get through and it was donated, so that's why I was concerned. For you, wait list.
There's still plenty of hoops to jump through as normal with the petition between the BOA and the FAA, so it's not as though, it happens and all, but no, it doesn't run through the normal process.
But you will present it to the county board.
That's part of the resolution out of the petition.
And
But
then
as
just
far as-
explain that it's
To accept
no money from the county, it's coming directly from the federal, so.
to accept a petition is what you're saying, it has to go.
Yeah, but do they have to be involved to accept the grant? No.
You're sure, okay. That's what I was worried about, so.
Essentially, the agency agreement that we signed with the Bureau of Aeronautics for every group of projects or project in general that is a CIP project, Federal Dollars Associated, authorizes the county executive to sign it and then the BOA to act on our behalf.
Okay. Item 6, operations and maintenance report. You gonna handle that one?
I can cover that, yes. So, Jason went with his daughters to go see the panda that's leaving the Memphis Zoo, which I know so they wanted to go see it, so that's where he's at this week on vacation. But the operations and maintenance folks are up to, well, it was kind of exciting. On Monday, we saw all this mowing equipment going around. We saw the ops truck without the friction wheel on the back, so that's a sign that spring is here. So right now, this week, they're switching over. They're doing some light maintenance on all the mowing equipment, the snow equipment to put it away for summer, and then getting out the mowing equipment and getting that ready to go. And then also, I'll be sending out an email to the tenants soon. They're gonna be starting their annual hangar inspections where they do preventative maintenance. And then we also check the hangars for compliance as far as what they have in their hangars. So that'll be throughout April and early May. That's all I got.
Anybody have any questions?
And, since we got approved for the truck, did you guys buy it yet?
We were just talking about that. I was talking to Jason about that on Monday, so he's working on it. He's not bought anything yet.
We got with finance, he's got 140 grand in his office, he's gonna go down there with pockets.
That sounds good.
Kidding.
State did.
It'll be most likely on the state.
Okay. Item 7, EAA report, we saw Sean left, so guess we'll just. Chairman's report, just a couple things. I talked to a county board supervisor at our last meeting who went on the 3-hour tour with Jim. That was 4 hours or 4.5. And said everybody should go on that tour because he hadn't been on the grounds of the whole entire airport since 1967. And he said, wow, there's a lot happening out there. I think you know what I'm talking about. He said, every county board supervisor should go on the tour and just realize what's going on here on a daily basis. So he was very pleased with his tour. Then, I don't know if you know this or not, maybe it's in the preliminary stages, but in the Senate, the US Senate, there's a bill that was brought forward by Senator Tammy Baldwin to reinstate the GI Bill for veterans who leave the military and would like to learn how to fly. And back in my day, and then aging myself, there were many people that took part in that program and learned to fly. So I'm hopeful that this comes through again because I know of quite a few young people in the military right now, and they would like to, when they get out, learn how to fly, but they can't afford the program. This would subsidize them going to, well, anywhere, but it would also help Fox Valley Tech with tuition fees for these young people to learn how to fly, so we could get some more pilots. So I think if it's done in the right manner, it would be helpful to encourage the veterans. Now, it's in the early stages, but it might get through, so I'm hoping so. That's all I had. Number 9 is committee member statements, suggestions, items for future agenda. Does anybody have anything? Any questions, anything? As always, if you do, just let us know. And then set next meeting date. I have May 3rd. That was good for me.
Right when everything's going on here.
Yeah, just fine.
Then I need a motion to adjourn. Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. I'm sorry it took longer.
37.
Yes, so I would, invite you all to, we're having our twice a year pancake breakfast on the 22nd of this month, be right here, 7:30 to 11 in the morning, and we are going to have quite a number of